You are watching Real Talk with me, Christine Kia. And now, our conversation today is based on gender-based violence. And we had Helen earlier on just giving us the perspective of the survivor. And right about now in studio, we have a lady and a gentleman. We have Stephanie Ndiku, who's the project manager, and Alex Sapingot, I hope I pronounced that correctly, who's a project officer at Africa Youth Trust, to just share with us what the organization does for gender-based violence survivors. And we also want to encourage you to interact with us by sending in your questions, your comments to 22162. Start with the word circuit. All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie and Alex, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So maybe, Stephanie, you can just tell us what African Youth Trust is about.
Okay. Africa Youth Trust was founded in 2005 with a deliberate and a specific thought of developing a youth-led model, youth-led development model, which is basically having the youth in the forefront in everything that, whether it is economically, in policy making, and governance. And with us, within the organization, we have various departments which ensure that we accomplish this. We have a youth economic empowerment department, which basically empowers the youth on especially on issues with unemployment. We also have a department within the organization on the gender, what we are discussing here today, gender empowerment. We also deal with integrate governance and advocacy and democracy, and also mentorship programs where we go to schools, universities, and also to the slums, especially where the marginalized places, just to mentor young people and making sure that they also know what their rights are, because the sad thing about the youth nowadays, they're not they're ignorant of what is happening, and they're not aware of what the government or the policies which are in place, just to make sure that they have they can access some of the things they complain they don't access. So we also have we work within the EAC, the East Africa community, because every program that we have in Kenya, we replicate it to the other parts of Africa, because as like our name, Africa Youth Trust, we don't want to have something which just successful in Kenya, but also want to replicate it to the other parts of Africa. We work closely with other organizations within the AESC and also with the southern part of Africa through a program that we call the Development Effectiveness, where we try to strengthen CSOs and also the youth so that they can advocate for their needs. Yes.
All right. So you guys do a couple of things, but today we're just focusing on gender-based violence. But I feel like everything that you're doing is kind of intertwined, because as we discussed with Helen, if the women are not empowered, then they are kind of forced to just be there in that situation and they can't leave. But Alex, just maybe tell us how does the organization assist survivors? First of all, survivors.
Oh, thank you. Africa Youth Trust, we have various programs that we are running since in the year 2014. To date, we started a program called Shikan, whereby we implemented in partnership with Action 8. We run a program called Shikan to ensure that we empower girls who are living within the slums, the marginalized community, and that's where we created Women Action Group. Women Action Group, whereby it's a movement of women coming together to champion the right of women within the community. And therefore, we noted that there's a need to do a lot of advocacy surrounding gender, to ensure that our girls get equal justice in terms of profession and in terms of access to justice, in terms of ensuring that these rampant cases of violence are not high in the community. And today we are discussing this because through various lineup in terms of since 2013 to date, we have been trying to see how best can we work within the community to ensure that the rampant cases of violence at least harmonize. So in partnership with Action 8, we're implementing a program called Access to Justice, whereby we are using the mobile phone innovative technology to try to link girls, women to both psychosocial support, medical and legal, to ensure that the survivors of gender-based violence are being taken care of. And that's why we have a movement in terms of training case managers, that is the community health workers. We also train the system operators. It is a system whereby it's a 24-hour system, whereby we have the system operators who are managing the system to ensure that when you send an alert, you just send an alert to 394 and you'll get help. We will connect you, whether it's police, whether it is a health facility. If it is the issue of court, we are working also with the court to ensure that there's justice to our survivors.
Yeah. A lot of organizations are using the SMS platform to assist survivors in various situations. How effective is it?
The system is working because we have, as I told you earlier, we have system operators. We train them and they're working on a daily basis to ensure that Monday to Sunday, if someone is manning the system. Like for example, if someone right now send an alert, there's someone who is manning the system and is going to call you to ask you what's the problem, what's the form of violence, if it is rape, if it is domestic violence, if it is any kind of abuse, and then now we'll link you up to the next level. If it is the issue of referral, we have case managers who are working within the ground. We have also built their capacity in terms of referral pathways. If it is the police, we are working also with the police. If it is the court, we are working with the court, and we have ensured that we have the clinical legal aid clinics within the slums. For example, we're implementing this program within Mukuru, Kwenjenga, Pipeline, Kware, and Imara Daima, whereby we have a catchment area. And we normally have open airs clinic, whereby we will involve the court, the magistrates come, so that the survivors can now open up to discuss their challenges. Because sometimes, you know, this issue of gender-based violence, there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of victimization in terms of opening up. So we have worked to ensure that we brought the legal team to the ground to ensure that our survivors open up, to ensure that if it's the issue of court, we have justice, even if it is one, even if it's two. And like now we have a network of survivors. We do have a network of survivors whereby we establish the network to ensure that these survivors, we empower them economically, we train them to ensure that, for example, we do mentorship to them. For example, 3 months, 6 months, we monitor the process and to ensure that we empower them economically, like creating agribusiness skills, entrepreneurship, even training them on how to develop a good business plan, and then we link up to financing institution.
Wow,
we
amazing.
were working with the county government and the national government to ensure that these survivors access the issue of ACBO, the issue of if it is a women fund, they access women fund, and we monitor them to ensure that if it's a period of 6 months, where are they? So that we ensure that they will not go back to the same route, maybe to continue the issue of violence.
Amazing. So Africa Youth Trust is basically a house that has everything inside.
Yes.
You offer like literally everything for the survivor. For the perpetrators, then how do you also assist this?
For example, we are working with the police to ensure that, as my colleague said earlier, that we train the case managers. The case managers, they're the ones who are connected within the community. So they do follow up. And when you get a perpetrator, we have, like, for example, our case managers, we have a curriculum whereby we train them in terms of counseling skills. So because it's the first suspect, someone who is in the ground is the first suspect, to ensure that what message do you give to the survivor? What do you tell the perpetrator? So it's a two-way walking journey to ensure that even in the other side, after we get the survivor, what message are we going to tell? And we have a problem. For example, right now the issue of gender responsive public service is a problem, because look at in the slum areas, we have a lot of mushrooming slum areas. Look at the issue of unemployment. Look at the issue of young people, the growing population in the country, unemployment. So it is us now to come up to build the capacity of these young people to ensure that, yes, what are we telling them? After maybe, yes, there's a need. Are we addressing that need? So we are trying to align our activities together with the national government to ensure that they give us support, so visual support to the organization, and many other CSOs which are coming up together
All
to
right.
ensure that we address this challenge together.
Okay.
Because it's not a one-man show.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
it is a collective responsibility.
Yes. All right. So we've talked about the SMSs, you know, which is
SMS platform.
yes, a unique way of dealing with this particular issue that a lot of organizations have adopted, and Alex has also explained to us how effective it is. Now, maybe you can tell us, Stephanie, what are the other key game changers to ensure that gender-based violence is actually its prevention and how people respond to it is prioritized in this country and even in Africa.
Okay, number one, like my colleague just said, it's not a one-man show. Everyone, especially the government and also the community ourselves, we have to get involved, because most of the time we realize when such cases happen, it's the first people protect the person who just committed the crime is the family.
Yes.
So if everyone can just come out and try and do their part, if it is reporting to the police, what is the police doing? Do they cover up the suspect, or are they given some, maybe sometimes the cases we get is the police have been bribed so that they can let the suspect go.
Yes.
So if the police can come and work with us, the county government and also the national government, other organizations, because as AYT, we're not able to cover every part of Kenya. Right now we've just started with Mukuru.
Yeah.
But if we can, other organizations can come and we join with together, try and work, because sometimes we've seen of late so many cases of gender based violence, and at some point they die.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it again. So some of the things we can do is organizations. Can we come with a system where all of us, where we partner with AYT, try to go to this Kawangware, this Kangemi, and not just we have Mombasa, we have other counties, Kisumu, where there these bigger, especially in the slums, where that's where they happen, and not just that, even in the workplaces, what are organizations doing? Do they report? Because you know it also happens within organizations.
Yes.
Do we report? Do the HR know what to do when such cases are reported to them? When it comes to the judiciary, do they know how to handle such cases? Some of the cases are very delicate. You can't just go telling everyone. So are they trained? So we've come up with my colleague is saying, we have a curriculum. We train everyone on what to do when such cases come to you. Have you been trained on how to handle? And also, especially right now, because we want to go to the other parts of the country, we've had cases of young girls who go to countries to work, and the stories we hear. So we also trying to work with other governments, just to through our government, the Kenyan government, to make sure that such cases they're dealt with. Every suspect is dealt with. It all starts with the legal system first, because and from after that, everyone has a choice and also a duty to report such cases. And most of the cases, like Helen was earlier here said, some of the cases, especially if it's a child, it happens within the home. They keep quiet. The mother or the relative will try and cover up. So if we can all start talking, it will all start with that. If we can all start work, it will be easier for an organization like AYT to act. And also another also even the government, they can't really tell what is happening if the people themselves they're not talking. And also one of the things that we really try and we are working on, it's more of a challenge to us, because when the victims come and they get their legal maybe they go to the courts to report, and also they get the medical support they get, and the counseling. After that, where do they go? We don't have safe houses for the victims. And most of the time they'll say, the reason why I want to go back, it's because the person who committed this crime is the breadwinner of the family, or I don't have anywhere else to go. If it maybe it happened within the neighborhood, I don't have anywhere to go. So we're trying to work with the government, see if we can have a safe house for the victims, and at least a way of training them, just to economically empower them, so that they can have something. Because some of the things, and especially the violence, it happens where there's poverty. People don't have anything, and it's like you're left at the mercy of whoever is committing that crime. So we are trying to work with different organizations, also the government, to come up with a safe house first. Then from there we can see on how we can work. And also for the suspect, after they serve maybe a jail term, and when they come out, are they different person, or they are coming back to revenge,
Yeah.
to commit more? If it's rape, if it is, we had sometime in Kenya about a lady was cut off, their arms were cut off. What are we doing? Are we in the system, the prison systems? Are we trying to rectify those problems, or do they come back to the society as bad people? Because I believe everyone has a chance to change. So what are we doing? Those are the systems that we are working on to make sure that it is even if we'll not reduce it to the zero level, at least those cases go down. Yes.
All right, so we are talking to very young people, and like we were saying with Helen, that she gave us, you know, how young people are affected by this. Are young people really well equipped, and you know, to deal with gender based violence? Do they have enough support? Do they have enough knowledge what to do, you know, in such cases, if it happens to them or if it happens to their loved ones?
Yes, young people, we are trying to work closely with the young people. First, we have an opportunity, despite all this challenge, we have the opportunity. First, we have a very robust constitution of Kenya. Secondly, we have the devolution, whereby we are working within the county government and the national government. So we are trying to do a lot of advocacy through the county government integrated development plans, that is CIDPs. And then we are trying also to align our activities in terms of ensuring that we align to MTP3 2017 to 2022 to ensure that our vision 2030 is well addressed. So we are our main focus is to sensitize, is to build capacity of young people, and like now we have already localized our programs to the county level to ensure that we create the county youth compacts. The reference group in every county, like now in Busia, we have a very able working group. We have in Mombasa a very working group that we ensure that at least we are working with the county government to ensure that what we are doing as an organization, we are taking to the grassroots level to ensure that we build the capacity of young people. Because look at, we understand that even the issue of the mobile phone, and that's why we are implementing this 21094, and we are feeling this is an opportunity for the country, not only for the organization, to address this key effect of gender-based violence. And the statistics show that 70% of young people, 70% of the Kenya population have access to mobile phone. But we realize that 80% of women and girls undergo violence, but only 50% of those cases, it is either report physical or emotional and psychosocial and sexual abuse. But we have noted that it's only 8.7 cases have been reported to the police. So what has happened? So that's why we have adapted this SMS platform. It's a unique project. It's a unique way of addressing this need, because everybody can just send this alert from the house and you can get help without even any other person within the community knows what has happened to you. So it's like now it's you and your phone, and you can get help. And we have realized that it is faster, and also it is that in terms of confidentiality within the survivor and us, and maybe within the society, that can really be one of the platform whereby the survivor can able to open up, because they share on an individual level. It's not like it is someone who has forced me to talk about it. When you are in the house, we just send and we reach you. So the issue of trauma, we are trying also to address the stereotype that exists within the society, that men cannot report such incidences, women cannot report. Everyone is open to this, and this violence is rampant. As we said, that the issue of gender-based violence is unique. As now in the Kenya position, we are talking about the Vision 2030. We are also starting in mind planning that we have Agenda 2063. What are we doing as young people? Are we up to date? So that's why we are trying to be innovative in terms of, because now we have adapted the way of technology, and also globalization has its impact, positive and negative. So what can we do? Which culture are we telling our people? So my point is that if we want to address the issue of violence within the community, we have to change the mindset. We have to address the issue of culture content. yes, those norms. Our society is more of patriarchy.
All right.
It's controlled by men.
Yes, that is very
what's
true.
What is the position?
Yeah.
What's the position of a girl child? What's the position of a woman? Do they have a space in the society in terms of the agenda, in terms of making decisions, in terms of leadership? So we are trying to build the capacities, the synergies of young people to ensure that we sensitize them, that we have a room for you, we have a place for you, so that at least we have a different society come 2020 or 20 as we address this challenge of GBV within the society. What can we say about Kenya right now and 10 years to come, 5 years to come?
Yes,
Why are
dealing
we?
with this particular
Why
issue.
are we? Are we?
Right.
Because we are going to do an audit. We are going to analyze.
Yes.
What has worked and what has not
What has
worked.
not worked.
So we are calling upon the key stakeholders, the county government, the national government, and many other civil society organizations who are working in this area. Let us have that coordination in terms of how can we work, because to address the issue of gender-based violence, it requires a lot of resources. Yes, right now we are just dealing with Mukuru forwards.
But you do need to expand.
Yeah, we need to like upscale this program within 47 counties.
All right.
Because violence is happening in Nairobi, it's happening in Busia, it's happening in Kajiado, it's happening in Kisumu,
Everywhere.
it's happening in Marsabit. What are we telling our people?
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I know we could talk so much about it. We still have a lot to tackle on it, but unfortunately time is not on our side. But we want to thank you so much for coming and you know, sharing that with us. And of course, we hope our viewers who are watching, who are maybe experiencing something like that, can actually reach out to Africa Youth Trust. We have Stephanie and Alex. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, so Real Talks come to an end. We've been talking about gender-based violence, but you know, the conversation doesn't have to end right here. We can continue talking on social media at eCircuit, Y254 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and on our SMS line, that's 22162. My name is Christine Kiai. I will leave you with a piece once again from Faith Shikanda.
If you woman cannot cook, then you are not a woman. No man will stay with you. You woman cannot keep a man in your pocket. If you woman shook loose your curvaceous figure, then your man is entitled to look at other options. Weigh those options. It is allowed. You woman brought it upon yourself, you should have maintained your figure. If you woman dare speak back to your man, then you are a woman trying to be a man when there is already a man in the house. So, shh. No questions allowed. You do not wear the pants in that relationship. Know your place, woman. Know that you will always be an object. A person not entitled to property because objects cannot own. Cannot even own your last name, for it is given to you by your spouse. One of the achievements us women are to look forward to. Like our parents didn't give us names, didn't give us titles that we can be referred to. Cannot even own your kids because they ain't your kids. Apparently, watoto ni wababa. So you just become the life giver, a womb that houses generations that cannot be traced back to you. Your name not worthy to be recognized on the family tree, so you become the roots. You do all the work, then later realize that no one will ever praise the beauty of a tree by its roots. And just because dowry was given for me doesn't give you the right to mistake appreciation for purchase, because you do not own me. You will not reduce me to an object again, that bitch from downtown, that side chick you want to get your freak on, that classic hoe from your videos. So understand this, that this is more than just a revolution, it's a fight for respect. Clap your hands and dance round this altar of rage, brother, you're about to be burnt. Understand that this is Wangari Maathai on heat. Understand that you stand in the street of democracy with the rage of Afghanistan. Understand that I come to you with the heart of a priest but with the fierceness of a gangster. Understand that the untamed spirit of Nelson Mandela, the wisdom of Martin Luther King, and the vision of Mahatma Gandhi just got birthed in my voice. And if you do not understand anything, understand that I don't need a man to tell me where or where not to be. I know exactly where my place is.